Alright, so basically in this video what I'm going to be explaining to you guys is a lot of problems I encountered with the SYMA X8C, a lot of problems that I fixed, how to fix them, and basically every mod you could possibly do to your SYMA X8C. Alright, so starting off, a little story. When I got this drone, I bought this drone used. I got it from a kid who had beat it up and it was kind of messed up. I could tell it's been crashed. The propellers, they were previously black here. They had a lot of damage on them. You could tell they were pretty jacked up. So when I bought this off the kid, he first gave me a little test drive and he flew it up in the air and immediately crashed it into a tree, and I just assumed that he was bad at flying. And so I kind of tested the drone out, and I saw that one of the motors right here, or one of the propellers, wasn't spinning. So I assumed, alright, you know, maybe a motor's bad, maybe a wire's kind of chomped off in there, and I could probably solder it back together, get the motor up and running pretty good. So what I did is I pulled this whole drone apart, and what I figured out was that the motor, I assumed the motor was bad, but I did a lot of tests. What I did is I swapped this motor here with the motor across, because they're both black and red wires, and it still seemed that the motor, no matter what motor you put in this corner, it was off. So I knew therefore it couldn't be the motors. But anyways, before I even tested that, I already ordered brand new motors. So I ordered brand new motors, I ordered brand new propellers, I ordered brand new little chrome caps here, brand new gears, a lot of stuff. So let's go over how I fixed that. How I fixed what the problem was happening was all three propellers were spinning. This one, that one, but only that one over there wasn't spinning. So I would always set it on a flat surface and calibrate it. And whenever I did that, I would have the problem all three would spin except one. But what I did is I was at the park trying to fly this, trying to counter it as best as I could, try to keep it in the air. It was getting super hard. The drone was getting away from me. I had no control over the drone because one propeller was basically dead, is basically what was going on. And this happened even after I changed all the motors, put all brand new motors, brand new gears, brand new pins, everything you could think of. So I kind of was like, I was wondering what's going on. I checked all the connections on the wires, everything was good. So what I did is I got the drone, I had it on, and I kind of tilted it towards that messed up propeller like that. I tilted it towards that, and I kind of gave it some acceleration here. And when I did that, what happened was this propeller spun super fast, and I've never seen it done that before. So I was wondering, I was like, wow, I think the gyros possibly could be off. So sure enough, I was right, and I honestly don't know where to find the gyros in the circuit board or anything like that. So what I did to fix it was I basically I held it like this, and I had my buddy calibrate it on the controller. And when I did that, I set it down evenly, and sure enough, I gave it acceleration, and all four propellers would spin evenly. So that's how I fixed that issue there. But once I did that, I had the drone apart at that point, so I was kind of curious, you know, what can I do to make this drone better? Obviously, I wanted a better camera. I wanted a little more power. I wanted it to not sound as noisy. I wanted it to look good. I don't want those little SYMA stickers everywhere, right? And so what I did, first thing I did is I got my new propellers, new chrome pieces here. And once I was in there, what I did read about is that the brass motors are a lot better than these regular stock metalish motors right here. And what I'm talking about by brass is that gear right there. This gear, I'm sorry, my camera's not focusing, but I'm referring to this gear right here. So this little gear on top of the motor. If you look inside mine are all brass, so they're all gold looking. And those brass is a little more flexible, so it kind of helps out when the gears are spinning. It kind of helps it flex and grip a lot more better, and it sounds smoother. It's a lot quieter. So that's what I did. I replaced all those. It looks a lot nicer. I took off all the stickers on the top, and I put my own little sticker here. It's a little Mishimoto sticker, because I'm into cars. And so that was one of the first things I did. Now obviously there's another mod you can do, is you can always upgrade your landing gear. My landing gear was kind of beat up when I got it, so I did already order some new landing gear coming in. I got the stock SYMA X8 legs, the ones you're looking at here, but brand new. The reason I did that is because I wanted to keep it black. Now you can upgrade your legs to a lot better legs, which you could go with the DJI Phantom legs, and those legs look a lot cleaner. They connect. They basically, if you look them up on eBay, DJI landing gear, you'll kind of get an idea of what they look like. And for the landing gear, the regular, this size, the smaller size, you're looking at anywhere from 14 to 20 bucks, and that's going to be if you're looking for black. And I wanted black. I seen some ones that were white for cheaper, but I really don't want to mix my colors. I want to stay black and red. And yeah, that's white, but that's just my sticker. So I want to try to stay black and red as much as possible, so I didn't want to get that gear. They do have, now if you are planning on getting that gear and you don't mind the color, I would recommend getting the tall landing gear. So when you're looking up landing gear for DJI, look up tall. It's a lot cheaper, which is weird. It's only $7 compared to 14 to 20, and it's the same DJI gear, but it's taller. It raises your drone up a little more, which is actually pretty cool. A lot of people prefer that. So that's another mod you could do. Also, I've seen another video online of some dude got super crazy, and he basically drilled this whole top body cover, the shell. He drilled holes all through this, all the way around, to try to do a weight reduction. Now that's his theory was he would save battery by having less weight, but he kind of added more weight doing whatever the hell he did on his video, so it was kind of ignorant. Didn't really make sense. So that mod I wouldn't really recommend. Another mod you could do, what I did is I wanted to upgrade the camera because I was having issues. My my stock camera that comes with it, when I plug it into the little power point that's under here, the power outlet, my problem was when I would go to the Wi-Fi on the phone to try to connect with the FPV app, I wasn't seeing the Wi-Fi anywhere, and I would kind of have to mess with the cord, and I checked the connections, everything was soldered together correctly, but it just wasn't powering on that Wi-Fi. It would, and then it would cut it off. So I was having troubles with that, and I had an action cam laying around that I bought a while back for probably like 20 bucks, 20 to like 40 bucks. It's a real cheap one. It's not the Wi-Fi one. It's just a regular 1080p action cam. Obviously, if you try to record in 1080p with that camera here, turn it around so you guys can see. If you try to record in 1080p with this cam, it's going to come out a lot slower. You're not going to get higher frames per second. You're not going to get as much frames per second, and it just kind of looks funny. So I always record with this in 720. It's just a lot better. So what I did for this is when I got the action cam, it came with only this black bracket. It didn't come with anything else. I kind of had screws laying around. So let me show you guys what I did here. So right there is the stock piece that slides in here for the regular SYMA camera. All I did was I drilled out, there's a pin that runs through the side, a plastic pin, right here actually, this plastic pin. It runs through the side on the inside of that there. And what I did to fix that was I drilled it out, and then I drilled a hole straight down, and it kind of went through here. And what I did is I got my bolt and I came in this way, came in up, and I made sure it fit this little frame here, this action cam frame. And luckily mine came with that, but it didn't come with the bolt that goes on the actual action camera frame. So I kind of just found a bolt that fit, and I just drilled the hole through that, shoved the bolt, and I tightened this, and it actually holds pretty good. So that's what I did to fix that. And whenever I want to record, I just power it on, click record, and I got my SD card in there. Records pretty good. Wide angle lens right there. And so that's the camera mod. That's how I upgraded the camera. And I could always slap a GoPro in there, a better quality camera at one point. When I get some more money, I'll do that. Another mod that you could do for this is of course a lot of people want more range with their drone. They don't want a flyaway. No one wants to have a flyaway. A flyaway happens when basically your drone loses connection to the transmitter, and it stays flying, and it flies over to your neighbor's backyard in their pool or something like that. So I want to increase the range. So what I did is you guys could find videos for this everywhere online. You guys have probably seen it. I basically did the Wi-Fi, or the Wi-Fi antenna adapter here into the transmitter, and that right there, oh man, that was hard. Let me just tell you, if you're not good at soldering, get someone to help you that's good. And when you cut that antenna wire and you try to split those two cords, that's really hard. I had a pretty difficult time trying to do that. So I got that accomplished. I did that, and this actually is ridiculous how high it can go now. I did get a huge antenna compared to most people. Most people get a little tiny antenna to try to keep it more compact, but I didn't care looking like a crazy person with this big old antenna. I'd rather have a purpose of something that's huge than have something small that limits my range. So that's another mod you could do there. Also, they do sell a gimbal for this that you could attach any action camera. That kind of, they have it pre-made. It's a gimbal, so that you don't get jello effect, and it's only like $4 on eBay. But the problem with it is it comes from Taiwan, comes from the Philippines, or it comes from China, and that takes about honestly, it's like anywhere from like 10 to 20 days to get here. So I do not want to wait that long. So I basically found my action cam, rigged that up myself, and that's what I did there. So basically my drone right now is looking pretty clean from up top. I love the way it looks when it flies. I love the way it flies. I plan to get some better footage with this eventually. I took the prop guards off. There's a lot of stuff you could do with this drone. And another way to increase more range is the same way you did the same way most people do this the Wi-Fi antenna adapter. You can actually do it inside the inside of the drone. There's a mini antenna that's in here, and you could actually solder your own adapter, and you would want to face that downwards. And I was thinking about doing it, but it's a little more difficult because you have to kind of find where to ground the wire, and there isn't another ground spot. There is, but you're gonna have to watch a video on how to do that, and it's a little more difficult. So if you're up for the task, you want to increase your range, you definitely go for that. That's a really good mod. Also, another problem I want to fix, I want to address. So I addressed the one propeller not spinning. I addressed that problem. What else? I addressed the losing connection with the Wi-Fi. And another problem that I recently had is once I changed all these motors here, I changed everything. Changed all the motors. I changed all the little gearing in here. I changed the little bracket plate that comes in here. Let me show you guys this. Alright, so check this out. This here, once I replaced that, I was flying pretty good, and I was actually flying at my girlfriend's house, in front of her house. I went all the way up in the sky. I was trying to test how far I could go with the new antenna. It was my first time flying with it, and first time flying after I put all the motors in. So I basically get this thing all the way in the air, and what happened was it started kind of coming down. And I think it was because I had a huge camera like duct taped around my drone that I was trying to put on here. And it was a little heavy, but the drone started falling down slowly. So it landed and the drone hit the ground. And I went up to it and I was kind of like, what the heck? So I gave it a little more acceleration, and only 3 propellers were spinning. And I was wondering why the other one wasn't spinning, because I had already fixed the calibration issue of the gyros. So I went up to it and I grabbed it like this. I grabbed the propeller and it wouldn't move. It wouldn't move at all. It was completely seized. So I thought the motor, and I smelled this right here. I sniffed this and it smelled roasted. It smelled like an electrical fire or something. It smelled burnt. So I for sure thought, oh man, I made a mistake. The motor's burnt out, something, you know what I mean? So I went home and I popped this all back open. And what I figured out was the motor was actually fine. The teeth on this gear were actually fine. They were all really good. But the issue was there is a little, how do I say, a brass sleeve that goes over this. And what that does is I believe it protects plastic on plastic rubbing somehow in here. But that happened somehow. And the plastic, I believe, kind of melted inside of this. The plastic from this white gear on top and this black frame underneath, it melted together. So this is kind of seized. This isn't separating anytime. Look at it, you can see it spins as one. So that happened to me, and I just, luckily I had replaced everything. I bought the whole kit. So I had an extra plastic piece laying around, and I slapped it back in, and it flies amazing now. So that's another problem that I fixed, and honestly that's so far all the modifications I could think of right now that you could do. There is another thing you could do. You can always get the there's another kind of, I would say, motherboard that's in here that you could change out for the altitude hold if you really want to get crazy with this drone. I believe that the board's only like 20 bucks, and you slap it in here and you get a different transmitter or something, and you actually can have altitude hold on your drone now, and that's a lot better, because now you get to have that steady quality when you're in the air, or that steady holding skills. You could spin the drone all the way 360, get your good footage if you have a good camera on there. Also, one last mod that I'm going to cover is the battery. There's a couple things you could do with this battery. Now with the battery, a lot of people do, let's see if I can get this out for you. Hold on one moment. What a lot of people do is they wrap electrical tape or whatever type of tape around the battery, so that when you go ahead and open this, you have a lip here with the tape, so that you can pull the battery out real nice and easy. You see that? You could pull your battery out real nice without having to tug on these cords and rip them out of their sockets. So that's a good thing you could do there. And also with the battery, in order to get longer flying time, you can actually upgrade your battery. I believe stock is 7.4 volts with a 2000 mAh, or I don't know how you pronounce that. It's MAH. And what MAH basically stands for, I was reading about it. It basically tells you how much battery, how much power that battery can basically hold. And the more mAh it has, the longer, theoretically, the longer the battery should last, the more juice it should have. So I have seen online, there's a couple like 2500 mAh batteries compared to this 2000 one that comes stock in the drone. So that's something you could also mess with. You could do that. You could get a better battery, have some longer flying time. Also, getting a camera like this does give you a little bit more fly time, because that other camera was running off of the power from this battery, so it was draining power. So this actually helps that, minus the weight addition. It does help in the fact that it uses less power than, or actually doesn't drain any power out of this battery. So also, with that being said, you can also do a lot more things with cameras. Everyone knows that you could throw a FPV on here, a camera kit you could buy. You could just wire it into the power battery, some type of power source on this drone. Get your own FPV, either slap it here, a little camera, so you could go on an app on your phone and kind of view it or something, and you could kind of see where you're flying as you fly. I don't really care for that feature too much. I'm more of a quality kind of person. Instead of wanting to see where I'm flying as I'm flying, I could look in the air. If the drone's so far that I can't see it with my eyes in the air anymore, I don't think there's any point of trying to see it on FPV. So I'd rather just have it in eyesight when I'm flying this drone. So that's my opinion on that. So I'm gonna leave that at that. And this is kind of my drone, how it is right now. Eventually I'm gonna post some footage of me filming with this camera, so you guys can go ahead and see that. And right now I'm filming with it's a 1080p Kodak X8C YouTube camera, and I'm filming with that right now. It's pretty good, but I don't know why it doesn't focus up close. From far away I get some pretty good images, but up close it gets a little fuzzy. So I gotta fix that on this camera. But other than that, if you guys have any questions, any type of things you want to let me know, any more mods that I haven't mentioned, just go ahead and message me, leave a comment, whatever. Also, you can mod out your LEDs here if you want to change the color. You could always pop those out, solder them back, and replace those. There's a lot of things you could do with this drone. It's endless when it comes to messing with the wires, soldering, upgrading motors. Well, actually, upgrading motors are kind of limited based on the size of this frame here. So that's that, guys. If you guys have any questions, just let me know.